The phone's screen remained dark in my hand. I held it for what felt like an eternity, waiting for it to buzz again, for another message to appear. But there was nothing, just the eerie silence of my bedroom, the soft glow of the morning sun streaming through the window. I swallowed hard, trying to shake the unease curling in my stomach. Felt too normal, too quiet, but I wasn't convinced that it was over. Swinging my legs over the side of the bed, I stood up, my body still stiff with the weight of the night before. My head throbbed, memories flashing like fragments of a shattered mirror. The house, the figures, the man with the hollow eyes, and that final picture. I grabbed my phone again and powered it on. Nothing. No messages. No missed calls. Not even the Snapchat app. It was gone. Completely wiped from my phone. A sharp breath left my lips. I hadn't deleted it. I knew I hadn't. But the app, the account, the messages, the pictures, they had erased themselves. Like none of it had ever existed. I checked my photo gallery, scrolling desperately, hoping for some proof, some evidence that it had happened. But the last picture I had taken was from weeks ago. No images from last night. No screenshots of the messages. Nothing. I didn't know whether to be relieved or terrified. Was this over? Or was this just another game? I walked to the bathroom, splashing cold water onto my face, trying to shake the weight pressing down on me. As I looked up into the mirror, something in my reflection made my stomach turn. My face looked different. Not physically, but something in my eyes. Something behind them. I leaned closer, my pulse rising. My fingers touched the cool glass, and for a brief moment, I swore I saw something standing behind me. A shadow, tall, unmoving, lurking just beyond my shoulder. I spun around, heart hammering. Nothing. The room was empty, but I could feel it. That presence, that watching feeling. It hadn't left. It had followed me. I needed answers. I needed to be sure that last night was real. Still shaken, I grabbed my keys and left my house, driving without thinking. My hands gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white, as I sped toward the only place that could confirm my fears. The house. I had to see it again, to prove to myself that it wasn't just a hallucination or some elaborate nightmare. As I drove through the back roads, something gnawed at me, the feeling that I had done this before. Not just last night, before. Like I had already driven down this road, chasing something I could never truly escape. The closer I got, the heavier the air became. The trees lining the path felt darker, their branches clawing at the sky. And then I reached the clearing, but there was nothing there. The house was gone. I slammed the car door and stepped out, my head spinning. The house had been there. I knew it. I had been inside. I had seen the basement, the photographs, the figures, and yet nothing, not even a trace of where it had stood. The grass was thick, undisturbed, as if no building had ever occupied this land. Panic swelled in my chest. I pulled out my phone, searching for the photos I had taken of the house before I went inside. Gone. I checked Google Maps, zooming in on the location where the house should have been. Nothing, just an empty field. I had no proof, no way to convince myself that what happened last night was real. But I knew. I could still feel the weight of it pressing down on my chest. The presence that had followed me home. Something had changed. Something had marked me. And then the phone buzzed. My breath hitched. I didn't want to look, but my fingers moved on their own. A single message from an unknown sender. You left too soon. My blood ran cold. The icon next to the message wasn't a regular text bubble. It was yellow, Snapchat, but I hadn't reinstalled the app. It had installed itself. I wanted to throw the phone, to destroy it, to erase whatever this was before it went any further. But deep down, I knew it was too late. This thing, whatever it was, wasn't tied to the house. It was tied to me. The house was never the source. It was just a doorway, an entry point into something much older, much darker than I could comprehend. The real horror wasn't in the house. The horror was in the game itself. I was never meant to escape. I was never meant to leave. And now, I never would. The screen flickered again. Another message. It's your turn now. The camera on my phone opened on its own. And then took a picture. Not of me, but of something standing right behind me. The image saved itself automatically. The file name? DeepTX_001. The realization hit me all at once. I wasn't the first. I wasn't the only one. And now I was part of it. The screen glitched once, the image distorting before a final message appeared. Welcome to the game. The phone buzzed one last time. New friend request. Democrat, Texas. Accept, decline. My hands shook, but deep down I already knew. There was no decline. There was never a choice. The screen flickered again, and everything went dark.